Guys, let me tell you a very important thing in the beginning of this video. Save often. If you don't save, you will be screwed. It will not be good for you. Yeah, save. Saving is saving your ass. Because yeah, Blender has autosave function, and if it crashes on you, which happens, it happens. It's not that often, but it happens. Then you have to go to File, Recover, Autosave, and this will take you to the temp folder with the autosave, and you will have a save probably a few minutes before. In this case, we don't have a save 2 minutes before, but whatever. Most of the time you will have, so yeah, make sure you use it. Otherwise, you just save it often. Now, I don't like especially the arms, how they are. Maybe it's too wide of a shoulder here, I'm not sure. But I will have to do experimenting. Like moving and see how it looks compared to the concept. Yeah, we have to restrain of doing very like this kind of things, bulky and bumpy things. We have to be very careful. This is a cartoon character, it has to be smooth and nice. And the most important things to make a smooth and nice character is to keep using your smooth brush, but very carefully, because I told you smooth brush is pretty hardcore in Blender. In ZBrush, smooth brush is much more kind of a it keeps the detail. Here it smooths everything, but you have to just get used to it. It's not a problem. I got used to it without any issue. Now I know how to press, how much I should press and everything. But if you come from ZBrush, if you have a ZBrush background, in the beginning you will be like, what is this? How is this possible? It's just smoothing all of my detail and everything I worked for in the last couple of decades. But it's not a big issue. You have to be just more careful in the next decades of your life using the smooth brush. Yeah, for the details on like the scales and everything, they are not too much scales. We have scales here on the face, a little bit on the neck and on the arms, and a little bit on the legs, but the other parts are not covered by scales, which is great for us, because I don't like to do detail. I have to, and I will, but I don't like. I showed you this guy. He has a lot of detail. It's not too much, but it's a decent level of detail. For example, each of those kind of shapes in here for the stitch, I did them by hand. Every stitch I put by hand. Of course, when I have kind of a pattern, then I just can copy it and paste it and stuff like this. So it's not every. But in the beginning, I started just with one stitch, and I end up with all kind of stitches. A lot of stitches everywhere. So yeah, but still, I'm not a fan of it. I'm a fan of making a good base for your mesh, for my models. Yeah. So I'm making a good base for my models, and then like from there I lose interest, kind of lose interest. But if I have to do it for freelance or for work, I just do it. It's not a problem. I do everything. You have to learn to do whatever it takes. So now let's think about the fingers. So there will be 3 fingers. So I will just separate them a little bit like this. Okay. And now we can make them either by extruding like this just with a move brush. We can do that. And then adding again a remesh and then extrude again, remesh, extrude. Let's do it like this. It's easier, it's faster. Maybe it's faster. I don't know if it's more appropriate, because we will not be able to make them as good probably. But let's inflate this guy. It's too thin. This guy too, especially in the end, and this also. And we have to kind of bend them. which could prove a little bit of a problem, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm looking at this arm here, how it's bent, because I like it. I like how the knuckles are kind of here, but then we have, yeah, we have the fingers going forward, and the knuckles are back. In this arm, it's not like this, but we'll see how it will be. We can push the knuckles back, and then Control R, and then with G, I'm trying to see it because my microphone is pretty big and it's, I mean, I don't see half of my keyboard and sometimes it's a problem. But it's okay. I mean, I do it for you guys and for the money, but for you mostly. And for some money. Yeah, you know, by the way, let me tell you about those courses that I'm doing. I'm doing courses, yeah, for a long time now, for 4 years, maybe more than 4 years. I'm doing courses. For me, I'm doing it for 2.5 years, and they're doing fine. I mean, I'm not complaining. I even can rely on them only, on the courses only for living. But since I don't have, for example, my own place to live, I'm living in the place of my wife, so I don't have my place, and that's why I'm collecting to someday get my own place. But these days the prices are amazing. I mean, I'm collecting, and when I collect it, I say, okay, I can buy something. No, the prices are doubled. Oh, goddamn. God damn it. Okay. God damage is a very nice thing. I'm not completely sure about that. But let's try with this. Yeah, we will have a hard time, but what I found out to be useful is to go to the phalanges, to the places that the finger bend, and just inflate them, because they are always a little bit thicker, especially in the cartoon characters. And then go to the end, inflate, and then make the nails, because we will have some nails. Definitely. It will be like this. You see a thick part, and then a nail. But this will never be that thin in here. Also, we have to be careful with the thumb. In most, I mean, in people especially, the thumb is always kind of the thickest finger, the fattest. But in this case, it will not be, because you see, the thumb is pretty thin compared to the other fingers, which I'm not completely fan of. But yeah, because it's a cartoon character, we can humanize it. But the guy, I think it's right to do it so we'll see. Now I'll make a little bit of a bump in here, because I like this to be more bumpy. And as a cartoon character, we have to make this kind of bumps. If we don't make them, let me show you what I mean. If we, like, you see, like here, sharp angle, here, going in, and then sharp angle here, going down, sharp, here, sharp, and then we'll go like this. If we don't make those sharp angles here, and also here I'm making it here, it will not look very cool. But our idea is to make it look cool, so we have to do something like this. Here we'll make kind of like this shape, and this. Yeah. Something like this. I think you kind of got the idea. Hopefully you do. So now it's a question of how long will it take us to get there. It's not super easy to make fingers, I may say, since I have worked with students on, I mean, on the academy that I'm teaching here in Bulgaria. I'm teaching some students, and I know for a fact that a decent hand, to do a decent hand with fingers, for a student which is not very experienced, can take up to like 4 hours. So don't think that you will make this hand as good as me, for example, for the time that I'm doing it. It will take you maybe a little bit more, but we'll see. All right. Okay, this is the pinky. I think the pinky should be smaller. This will be big. And this will be also kinda big. We will have this phalange and this. Okay, this is starting to look kinda nice. But we'll see. We'll have to make this kind of pop-up. You see how this middle part is kind of more visible all over the hand, like this. And yeah, this I will move. I can make this a bit bigger. Since he's a dragon, like this is good. Sorry, I had to pause the video a little bit because I had some call with some guys, but let's continue. Okay, this is the size. Maybe the body could be bigger, but we'll see. I told you it's not a big issue. So how to change between the meshes in the sculpt mode is with Alt Q. I told you. So you go hover in the mesh, Alt Q, and you're on that mesh and you're starting to do it. Amazing, I know. Now Control R, okay. And here we do a little bit of nails, maybe. They have to be a little bit curvy. Thank God we will not do a low poly of this. I mean, the game model. Although it's possible. I mean, you will not make it as in a pose. We'll in this case we'll make it in a pose and make a good render of it and turntable. But if you want this to be a game model, of course you have to make the boy separate from the dragon. You have to make them both in T-pose or A-pose or whatever pose. But whatever you call it, because it's most of the time it's called T-pose. But here, you see, I made some mistake, and now we have this hole, and I can just inflate it. No, inflate is with 6, yeah. Inflate it, and then smooth it, and then inflate it, and smooth it, inflate it, smooth it, inflate it, smooth it, until we are done. And next time, I will know if I want to make on a thin area like the palm of the hand, if I want to make this thing on top, I should be careful of the bottom also. Because yeah, on thin areas, yeah, you can also always go to N, Tool, and for example, auto mask front faces. And then it will not be a problem if you click this front faces here in advanced auto mask front faces. But yeah, you have to be careful with these settings too, because if you forget it, and at some point you will be wondering what is happening, because something will happen that you don't like. You know, so, but what is happening? Why is this happening? And yeah, from my own experience, I know that it can be pretty frustrating until you found out what you have done. Here we will make, I will inflate this, inflate this, inflate this. We have to, I told you, we have to restrain of doing too much anatomy, but a little bit of anatomy here and there will not kill anybody. Okay. Somebody can be killed from anatomy, I don't know. That's an interesting question. By the way, if for example now this is covering my stuff, so how can we hide it? If we want to hide it, it's not needed now. But we can always press this button, which is this, you see it over here, this, to show and hide. You know, this is the mesh that we are currently on, so it will show only it and center to it, and we can go and continue working on it pretty much easier, because we have to go from the inner part, from the outer part. The finger itself should be a little bit rectangular in circumference. I'm not sure how it's circumference, maybe. So yeah, it should be rectangular. What do I mean by that? And it, not it should be, but if it's rectangular, I think it will be better. Most of the time in the cartoon characters, rectangular circumference is better than the rest. Bigger the best, better than the rest. What do I mean circumference? So, let me see. No, okay. So, I mean this to be kind of a rectangular shape, like this. This is a plane, this is a plane, and in the back you have also like this. This is invisible. And this also, like this. Rectangular. You know, and all the fingers, we should make them kind of like that. And then we can smooth them a little bit, but they should be basically made this way. And of course, we can make them as I usually make my fingers of human characters. I usually make them from a cube. In this case, we didn't make them. Maybe for the boy here, for his fingers, maybe we will use this method that I'm using most of the time. But this time, since there are only 3 fingers, the boy also has only 3 fingers and the thumb, so 4 fingers. This method of just extruding from the palm is kind of okay. It's working. It's not super huge, nice, but it's working. So I guess we're okay with that. Now I can inflate this area, because this is the last part of the pinky, the last phalange, if we can say. Phalange. Phalange. Why not? We can say phalange. And yeah, I'm paying more attention to the arms, because I want to emphasize that arms are pretty difficult and also pretty important. If you don't make them as good, and I've shown you how to, what the purpose of them to be, how you can make them, or how you should try to make them with angular things. If you don't do this, your model will look odd, and it will not look professional and nice, which we want. We want them to look professional and nice. I mean, the arms and the legs, especially the legs, will be more like a bird legs. Of course, they are reptile legs, but reptile legs are also a little bit like bird legs. Birds and reptiles, by the way, have something in common. I mean, in anatomy. Are there flying reptiles except for the pterodactyl? But it's not alive anymore, so I don't know. But those kind of things are like almost like wings. No, they don't have anything to do with wings. Wings, most of the time, especially in birds, I mean, and also in mammals, like the bats, wings are kind of a continuation of their arms, their upper arms. So their upper arms basically have something uh, like attached to it, so they can fly. In this case, it's not like that, so it's not. It cannot be said that those things are wings. There are things that are for, I think, in the lizard kingdom, because there are lizards with things like this, dragons. Some of them are called dragons, really, although they are pretty small. Um, they are for the mating. I mean, for the male, for example, to look bigger, and the biggest those things are on certain individual, he will have more of a chance to mate with the females or something like this. I mean, I guess it's for that. Most of the time in the animal kingdom, it's about mating. It's about continuation of the species. Pretty interesting stuff. I like to watch this kind of videos, so Discovery Channel or Animal Planet or whatever. Although I don't, because I don't have time anymore. When I was younger, I had time for games, for stuff like this, but nowadays not so much, which is okay. I mean, everything with this time. Now I have to find times for my family, for the courses, for work, for freelance, and for those things mostly. But family is very important. I realize that. I mean, yeah, without my family, I probably won't be making these courses and everything. I wouldn't have the will to do it because I kind of make enough money when I with my work, but just for me. Huh. For my family, the family takes, you know, takes some money to do. All right, no. Let's press this button, and the fingers are looking relatively fine. Let's not make that thin of a wrist, but the wrist also is kind of a squarish form. I mean, you see that's like a box of it. So make sure you do something like it. Here we'll make it a little bit thinner, like in the concept. We'll go to the body and make it a little bit like this. So more resolution. Smooth it out, but very lightly with the smooth brush. Otherwise, you will destroy all of the things. And I need just the things that are here. So we have the chest. We'll have two of those coming down in the middle like this. Yes, so this is okay. We'll have these, but also I'm smoothing. We'll have another one which is going like this, and it's like connecting with those two. I'm seeing it, it's here. And then we will have this kind of thinking here and the others. Yeah, I made some tryouts for this course. It's not my first time I'm doing it, the dragon. And in the first tryout, I made a clavicle and everything. I made him basically human anatomy here around the chest. It was not looking bad, but it was looking more ordinary. Now with this kind of a strange anatomy, he will, I think, look better. But we'll see, it's about to be seen. We don't exactly know. I will make this a little bit deeper here because, you know, those kind of reptiles, they have this kind of a strange necks, like this kind of strange thing on the neck, and that's what this represents in my opinion. And that's why we want to do it a little bit deeper and a little bit, you know, more visible. And we will, definitely. We are doing it even right now. So what I'm missing here is this kind of a sharp thing in the back. I will do it from the hand now just to see. Then probably I will separate it or do it separately. And yeah, but now it looks decent. Of course, it has to have kind of a separation. And in the next video, probably we will start doing the basics of the legs, which will be even more difficult in my opinion than the hands. Yeah, and don't be afraid to spend enough time to make sure that the arms, especially the hands and the legs, are looking good, because otherwise all the time that you have spent on the character for the head, for example, and everything will be wasted, because your model will be always judged by the worst thing. So if you don't spend enough time, especially on those areas, I told you the hands are one of the most important things in all characters, and also the head. The head is the most important, but then the hands. So you have to spend enough time for this kind of things. Okay, see you in the next video, of course.